Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's just tell some stories. It's Friday night. I've owned a motorcycle shop for 20 years or a little bit longer. I started the shop in Los Angeles. I moved the shop here to Daytona Beach. This is motorcycle mecca. Daytona is where it's at when it comes to motorcycles. I moved it here in about 2004, me and my business partner, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since. The shop has gone up and down through the different economic phases. I can honestly say it's a struggle right now. And they're not making it easy on us. I have experience around the 1% world. My father was a 1%er in a large 1% club. My grandfather was in a club. You can't really call them 1%ers because my grandfather was involved in that kind of stuff before Hollister, before the term 1%er came out. He joined motorcycle clubs out of World War II and rode around the Pacific Coast, Oregon, Northern California, raised hell. My dad kind of followed in his footsteps right around Vietnam. I never joined any of that world, but I've had a lot of experience around it. And of course, owning a motorcycle shop, it puts me around those types of people. And I also had a retail store. I've had many businesses. And the retail store, at first, when we first started the retail store, it was a separate location than the shop. The old shop had a showroom out front and then the production area in the back. The current shop, which I own, we had this built for us in 2007, 2008, right around when Obama got elected. It's just a shop, there's no showroom. So we started a retail store. And the retail store was just overflow, take-off parts, a lot of parts, accessories, some aftermarket crap, tires, leather vests. I had these old ladies come up to me and they said to me one day, they come in the store and she says, "I have an offer that you can't refuse." And I laughed. I'm from the streets. That's what I did before motorcycles, is I was running the streets as a fucking full-time criminal, running with gangs out in Los Angeles. So she says this to me, I burst into laughter. It's like, yeah, right. She says, "No, you're gonna take this deal, I promise." I said, "Well, what do you got?" She says, "I have a whole container." And when she says a container, think of a tractor trailer, or like a train. They look just like those train cars. She says, "I have a container," which is one of those train cars, basically, full of vests and jackets, like leather biker vests and jackets and helmets. And she says she has a store and she's going out of business and she'll make me a deal. And I was just like, well, I don't want that shit. You probably want too much for it. That stuff's all cheap crap. You see what we're selling. And I had custom bikes in the shop and, all kinds of cool parts. I need a bunch of fucking generic vests and bullshit. And I told her, look, you could go down the street and sell it to the guys down the street, because they had a leather store down the street that sold a bunch of just generic bullshit. And she says, "No, I hate them." And she goes into a little tirade about the guy and how she hates the guy. And she's like, "I'll sell the whole container to you for $500 cash right now." Done. I pulled out the 500, done. Bought an entire container full of that crap, and we just had a fire sale with it. I was selling those vests like hotcakes. During that time that we're selling the vests, I had about 12 or 15 of the pagans come into my store. All very nice. They all bought a bunch of leather stuff, bought a bunch of stuff. These guys spent a lot of money. We had a bunch of different clubs come through. Who was it, the other ones? The Booze Fighters, they came through, bought everything green. They're the ones who wear green, right? Yeah, they bought everything green. They told me anything that I get that's green, like t-shirts or any kind of accessory, leather crap, anything that's green, they'll buy it. The Mongols come through, they didn't really talk much. The pagans were real chatty, and one of the guys asked if I wanted to be their mechanic. Now, I don't like being a mechanic. It's thankless work. I don't like fixing your shit for you. And people don't maintain their stuff very well. And I got to fix the same crap over and over and over again, and then you just treat me like a slave. Like and it just feels like, and I don't get much money, and people don't thank you. They don't really thank you. When I build a custom bike and I do a custom fabrication for somebody, they treat you like a god. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. This is wonderful. And they go around town talking about you, that you're so wonderful. If I fix your bike, I can fix your whole bike for you for cheap. And all you're going to do is go around talking shit about me. It's the way people are with their mechanics. And then if something breaks 6 months down the road, it's my goddamn fault, not yours, right? So I politely declined to be their full-time mechanic. But I was invited to a party. The party was at the Main Street station. It wasn't their party, it was a party for another club, and they were invited to, and all the clubs were there. The Mongols were there, the Pagans were there, the Outlaws were there. All the black and white clubs in this part of Florida showed up. And I roll in on a custom bike with my business partner, who's also on a custom bike. And immediately, as I parked my motorcycle, I started to get people pointing at me and whispering as if I'm somehow breaking rules or I'm standing out in some weird way. And it looked like people kind of making fun of me, because I could see people kind of laughing and giggling. And I'm a tough guy, and I'm thinking, what's everybody laughing at? Well, they were all pointing to my tennis shoes. I was wearing bright white, brand new sneakers. Everybody else, all the other clubs, and the place is packed. Parking lot's packed full of guys. Patches everywhere. All the bikes are in one area. And they're all wearing boots. You know what bikers wear? Boots. And here I am with my bright sneakers standing out. And I'm the joke of the party. And people come up to me one after one. We socialize, and people are very nice, and we hung out for a little bit and talked with a bunch of people. And I wanted to leave because they had a bunch of vacant buildings across the street, right across the street. And my business partner, me and him, we go way back, and he told me, hey, I guarantee you fucking federal agents are set up with cameras in those fucking upstairs windows. This whole thing, we are on video this whole time. It's too late now, but you know, just so you know, we are on fucking footage. We're gonna be in the next episode of that TV show, whatever it is, the Outlaw Biker TV show that they have. So we eventually bailed out of there. But I was teased heavily for my sneakers. I was the laughing stock of the party because of my sneakers, the whole time. And they all had a real good laugh about it. Well, fast forward about a month, 2 months. I'm riding my motorcycle back from the store. And there's a usual route that I would go, kind of avoid most of the main roads through town, kind of go the outskirts of town, and then I can hit right down to my house. There's this long stretch where it's just mostly trees, and then you hit some apartment complexes, but along that long stretch where it's just mostly trees, and you're in town, but you feel like you're out of town. That's why I like going that way. There's the Florida State Troopers, and they got, or it's the highway patrol, but whatever it is, we're not far from the highway. And they got a line of pagans pulled over, like 30 of them. And they're all pulled over. And they got a couple cop cars. And they're gonna keep these guys, they're IDing all of them, they're hassling these guys. They're giving them the business. And I kind of get the vibe, at least from stories from my father and people like that have been in that world, that this happens periodically, that cops harass these guys and will just pull you over, fuck with you for nothing. And I'm riding along, checking out the scene, and not all of them, I can't say all of them, but most of them, most of these pagans, most of them were wearing bright white fucking sneakers, those sons of bitches. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, you guys, you teased me the whole time. And now you're all wearing sneakers. So you see any of these motherfuckers out there wearing sneakers, that's me. I did that shit. I'm trendsetter. Used to make fun of me. Thanks for watching.